So, welcome students. We will discuss the Indian judiciary, the leftover part, that is the structure of courts in India, part 2. India has a single unified judicial system with the Supreme Court as the highest court, as the apex court. The decision of the higher courts are binding or depending on the lower court's decision. So both the Supreme Court and the High Court are courts of record. That means whatever verdicts were passed, whatever decisions were taken, whatever was going on, these things were documented. Okay, that means they were having written records so that it can be taken as an example in giving further justice in different courts. As an example, so besides the district court and the district and session courts, there are some other courts also, like revenue courts, panchayat court. Revenue courts, they are responsible, or their main duty is to collect land revenue. The Board of Revenue is the highest revenue court and under the control of the High Court. So while at the district level, it is the court of the collector's office. Then comes the Panchayat courts. It deals with small cases like criminal cases, civil cases at the village level, and are often referred as Nyaya Panchayat or Gram Kachari. Normally, 3 or 4 villages have one Panchayat court, and those who are not satisfied with the decision of these panchayat courts, they can appeal against it in the higher courts. So this is here the MCQs. Final authority on the constitution, judiciary, and the revenue courts are responsible for collecting land revenue. Then comes the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction implies, means the extent of legal authority that courts can exercise. Courts exercise different kinds of jurisdiction. Original jurisdiction is relevant in cases that can be brought up only in a particular court and not any other. The Supreme Court exercises original jurisdiction over following cases: dispute between states or between center and one or more states. That means states and states, different state governments and state governments, or state government and central government. Cases involving violation of constitution, like different rights by government or any of its agencies or any individual. It can issue writs, a legal document issued by the court directing a person to do or not to do something. Habeas corpus is there, like that, for upholding and enforcing the fundamental rights granted by the Constitution. The High Court exercises original jurisdiction over following cases. I hope you understand what is original jurisdiction. That means there are certain cases which cannot be taken up by some courts, or which can be taken up by some courts. Okay, so in this way, Supreme Court takes over these types of cases: fight between central government and state government, fight between state government and state government, or violation of any constitutional law. Then High Court can look after cases involving violation of fundamental rights and those involving disagreement over matter related to state elections. Okay, elections. Appellate jurisdiction implies appealing against ruling of lower courts in higher courts. The Supreme Court exercises appellate jurisdiction over following cases: PILs or petitions filed against decision of High Court in civil and criminal cases. Cases where the High Court itself confirms that it entails an important point of law and calls for interpretation of the Constitution. Cases where High Court changes decision of lower court and awards death penalty in criminal cases. I hope you understand. In this appellate jurisdiction, if lower courts provided certain punishment, awarded certain punishment, and that particular punishment was changed by the High Court and given some another type of punishment, then this type of punishment can be appealed, or this type of ruling of lower courts can be appealed or challenged in the high courts like Supreme Court. These things also you need to read: the Judiciary of India, the highest court of the country. Then High Court, the highest court in the state. Subordinate district courts, these are the highest civil court in the district. Next is the High Court exercises appellate jurisdiction over criminal civil case suits filed in appeal against decision of lower courts. Now let's see advisory jurisdiction. It is when the court gives advice on certain matters. The Supreme Court advises the President on constitutional issues. However, the President is not bound to follow the advice of the Supreme Court, but he if he want, only if he wants. Supervisory jurisdiction is when court oversees the functioning of lower courts. For instance, high courts administer the work of all subordinate courts. This is supervisory jurisdiction. High court look after all the work of all lower courts, all subordinate courts. That is termed as supervisory jurisdiction. Here you can see a Jessica Lal murder case. She was a model cum bartender. She was shot at the party of Tavern Court Cafe, a posh South Delhi restaurant, on the night of April 29, 1999. She was taken to Apollo Hospital but was later declared dead by doctors. Manu Sharma, you can say the convict, was later awarded death sentence. Okay, and two accused were awarded 4-year prison term for destroying evidences in 2006, December 18, 2006. Okay, but this decision, Delhi High Court's decision, was appealed. Okay, in the apex court, that is the Supreme Court. Okay, so Delhi High Court is the lower court against Supreme Court. So Supreme Court decisions will be final. Now you could see different branches of the legal system. There are two types of cases in the court. One is civil and another is criminal. Civil cases usually involve conflict between people or institution on issues such as breach of contract, property, dispute, anything, and even minor accident where nothing happened. Okay, so in such cases the aggrieved party files a case in the court and the decision involves granting of certain in respite to the victorious party. That means some amount or something like that. In the criminal cases involve gross violation of law, that includes theft, murder, fraud, harassment for dowry, molestation, drunken driving, etc. In criminal cases, initially a first information report, FIR is lodged with police, who then probe the crime, and ultimately a case is filed in the court. If the accused is found to be guilty, sentence varies from simple fine to death sentence. So these are the two different branches of the legal system, civil and criminal cases. Civil cases includes everything from money to this one, property and everything, divorce, everything is a civil case. Criminal is where somebody is killed, okay, or theft or fraud or asking dowry, molestation, drink and drive. These are criminal cases. So it is better to stay away from it. We will start next access to the courts. Thank you.